I think it is more likely within 3-5 years that AI companies, cutting edge in all sorts of fields, will actually be all over the world. I think this is going to be a proliferating technology for good and for bad. So I'm more concerned about individuals, rogue states, terrorist organizations doing crazy things, as opposed to the US versus China that ultimately want stability in the system, right? But I'm also hopeful that it's not going to be a small number of dominant companies in the United States and China that control all of the next generation AI. Actually, if you're at a position where you can run a near cutting edge AI on your own laptop or on your smartphone, and millions of people have access to that intelligence and they can do things with it, I don't think that a small number of mega tech corporations are going to control it. I mean, they may have platforms that they'll be able to charge taxes on, basically tariffs on, but I think so much of both the value, the upside, and the danger will be distributed all over the world. And that's, again, very different than the way we think about geopolitics today. So I don't think the US, on the AI front, I don't think the US-China fight is the principal concern to worry about in the next 5 to 10 years.
Ooh, okay, well, so this is very interesting. One of the things that you talked about in the book is that when Russia invaded the Ukraine, one of the things that they did to try to appease the West and keep them calm was like, hey, we know you're really worried about hackers. We're going to go round them up, arrest them. And what happens to the ability to use political means to get these bad actors in line if they are proliferated everywhere and we have varying degrees of ability to influence?
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I think you don't have an Interpol model or an IAEA model. It's why I think it's going to have to be much more inclusive with the technology companies. I keep coming back to this. I don't think that the US government by itself or the Russian government would be able to make that kind of a promise as easily. Russians are a little bit different here, right? If you're a authoritarian state and you have real control of the information space, maybe the vast majority of people working on hacking are under your authority, maybe. But if AI really becomes as explosive and as decentralized as I believe it will, then the governments by themselves are going to have a hard time even maintaining control of the AI space. So I'm not sure the Chinese model on this is going to work. I mean, in 5 and 10 years time. Remember, they gave up on the Great Chinese Firewall, and instead, because it was too porous, and instead what they did was they used the surveillance mechanisms, and they had a whole bunch of people that were online that were basically nudging Chinese citizens towards better behavior and towards certain things that they should say and certain things they didn't say. And that turned out to be more effective. AI, I think, is going to become, if it becomes a much more decentralized space, it's going to be much, much harder for an authoritarian state to do that. But certainly, it'll be impossible for a democratic state to do it. Now, the question you haven't asked me is, does that mean that democracy is sustainable? I mean, if the U.S. government feels immediate national security threat from all these tech companies and they can't regulate it, might the Americans start finding the Chinese model on AI much more attractive? I don't think so. And I don't think so. Why? Because I think our system is so entrenched, it's so slow moving, it's so receptive to money. The companies are so wealthy, they have the ability to capture the regulatory environment. Like, again, I mean, never say never. It can happen here. If things are incredibly dangerous, yes, I mean, you can take desperate measures, but short of the worst scenarios, I think that the United States is closer to kleptocracy than it is to authoritarian regime. If there's a way that the Americans are going to move away from democracy, it's probably not a Chinese model.
Please make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Leave us a comment down below about what topics you would like to see covered next. Thanks for watching.